Hi, welcome to the series called Living It Out, Colossians, and this is Lesson 14. As I have been going through this series, reading Colossians on my own and writing out my study notes for you each week, I've also been reading a book that I have read a couple of times already, but I love always reading it again. It's a book written by Kelly Minter, and it's called The Fitting Room, and the subtitle is Putting on the Character of Christ. I love this book. I love the way Kelly writes. And if you can get this book and read it, I highly recommend it. Any book that she writes is excellent. I happen to be an avid book reader and just, again, highly recommend this one. But I love her style of writing. It's very warm, it's inviting, it's very real. And I just feel like when I'm with one of her books, I've been invited to a table of grace where she says openly where she's struggling, what she is personally, how the Lord is gripping her heart, where He's asking her to be transformed, and she's very real about it. And she shows you exactly what it's like as she surrenders that to the Lord. And I just, again, highly recommend this book. This coming week, I want to take a look at the word patience. Now, we've kind of lengthened this study out. I thought it was going to be 16 weeks, but when I got to this point where we were discussing each of the virtues we're to put on, I just really felt God speaking to my heart about taking one virtue a week and just sitting on it, studying it, thinking about it, allowing us to go through our week learning to apply that word, looking for areas where that word shows up in our life, and then to evaluate, am I putting this garment on? So this week we're going to be doing the word patience. Next week is forgiveness, and then we will move on. But thank you for your patience. I love that word. And I loved this word this week, and I want to explain a little bit about it. You see, this word that we're going to be studying in Colossians 3:12, patience, does not have to do with the patience that we're to have when we endure through a difficult time. That's not the way Paul used this word, and it'll get explained in your study notes this week. What this word means is the ability to bear up with people. I like to call it a people-oriented patience. Well, as I read Kelly's chapter in her book this week on patience, I was once again reminded why I love this gal's writing so much. In fact, I'm going to read a little bit of it to you. I want to give you a little background because what she's stating here is that she was talking about in her life where she had to take time to go back and evaluate how God had been patient with her and how He had reflected that pouring out of patience on towards Kelly in her own life. And as a result, she wrote these words, and I'm going to read these to you. I know you're going to be blessed. I've been reading them over and over this week and love them. Here's what she says. I'm now able to look back and see the tender and steady hand of God that has gathered me from deep in the woods, gently setting my feet back on the narrow path many times over. And when I didn't want to be rescued from my willful excursions, I see that He waited for me with long suffering, not vengefully counting the time against me, yet eager for my return. Not to say that patience is void of consequences or even discipline, as these will be a part of God's active patience with us at times. And she said, if you want further reading on that, she made a note to read Hebrews chapter 12, 4 through 13. I would encourage you to do the same. She goes on to say, God's relentless patience has met me much like ocean waves rolling onto the shore. There's always another round if I don't get it the first time, or even the 132nd. He does not cease showing me the same lessons over and over until the light finally blinks on in my dull understanding, and I really get it. His long suffering has borne me over with many pale idols I have so zealously looked to in life, whether it was running after false gods of a shimmering music career, the fading glow of earthly success, or the hope that a human could fill me up from the bottom of my heart to the tip of my soul. God expanded many patient years God expended many patient years revealing to me the futile pursuit of happiness apart from His presence being the very core of all I desire. I was like a little Tarzan, swinging from one newfound God to the next, tasting the fruit of each tree, when all the while the Lord kept saying to me, "Kelly, you don't want the tree. You want the author of the forest." Oh, how indebted I am to the persistence, unwavering patience of God. And when I consider this divine patience, I am required to contend with how patient I am with others. I simply cannot have a good handle on the long forbearance in which God has dealt with me and consistently blow up at my neighbor. It is incongruent for me to joy in His patience while having those nagging thoughts about people around me, the ones that go something like this: "Come on, get it already." But when I am authentically grateful for the ways God has shown me such enduring patience, I can feel my spirit softening like a meat tenderizer being taken to my heart. I love those words, and I can relate to that. It's so easy when we are looking for other gods to make us happy that we become very exasperated with the interruptions that occur in our life when people come along, and the pride and the arrogance that builds in our own lives then gets taken out on someone else, like, "Oh, come on already," like she said. But I loved that comment that she said that God was pursuing her heart when He said to her, "Kelly, you don't want the tree," meaning the idol. "You want the author of the forest." I love that. Well, this week, I want you to concentrate on three things, and you're going to see these in your study notes. I want you to first think about how Christ modeled. I think we have to begin there to see the example that He wants us to lead. Of how He modeled patience to other people. Then the second step I'm going to have you look at is to count the ways in which God has poured out His patience to you. I think that when you can count those ways and that's where your focus is, the next step of what I'm going to have you do is oh so much easier, because you want to return to God and offering to Him for what He's done for you. And that third step is this. I want you to consider then what people in your life need to see you wearing this garment of patience. It's going to be a great week. So what I really want to resonate in your heart this week is this: when you deeply consider the patience that God has had with you, that He's poured out on you, your heart will joyfully want to respond to showing patience to others. I hope you have a graceful week. See you soon. Bye-bye.